What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning back in to my point of view. I appreciate everybody that's continuing to rock with me. Anybody new here, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, today I want to touch on a couple topics, mostly involving learning in today's society, especially in America. Personally, I feel like schools are doing our children a heavy disservice. I feel like our kids are borderline retarded nowadays. Compared to in my generation, I feel like these kids are so far behind. It takes a lot of effort to bring them back up to date, and it shouldn't be like that. Now, I don't want to put it all on the schooling because at the end of the day, it takes a village, and a lot of parents don't do their due diligence as far as being parents and making sure everything is set up for their kids to learn and succeed in the best ways possible. Also, a lot of them don't like to be hands-on parents nowadays, not including the fact that it costs $1 million a month to live now, so a lot of parents can't be around. You have to go to work. It's a lot of one-parent households. It's getting better with two parents, but still a lot of one parents. So I gotta, be reasonable and understand that's the life of some people. But still, I see that, and I still see a lot of people not really be as hands-on as parents as they should be. Personally, I plan on having enough money to when my kids go to school, they get homeschooled. I'm not saying I'm going to do the homeschooling, but I need to see what's going on day to day. It's hard for me to really trust schools now, unless I have enough money to send. Well, it'll probably be the same amount of money to send them to like a private school or a charter school, but it's still iffy with those nowadays. But they are better than public schools. Public school kids barely can fucking read nowadays. It's ridiculous. I literally know kids that's up there in age, not high school, but borderline middle school, elementary that can't read. It's no reason they're not being held back. In my generation, they held you back. You got held back, and you wanted to learn how to read because all your friends in the next grade, they're going to see you. Especially if you go to the same school, they're going to notice and be like, man, why you still in that grade? You're going to get embarrassed. People need to be embarrassed. You need to see how it feels. It gives you something to strive for. It gives you a reason to be better. In today's society, it seems like they took away all the embarrassment. Anything that can, it's like participation trophies. Nowadays, these kids get walkthroughs on everything. There's no competition. There's no embarrassment. There's no such thing as a loss. That's why when they become adults, they don't know how to handle a loss. They crash out. They lash out. They do a bunch of wild stuff because they don't understand that when you lose, you can come back from that. Losses are not long term most of the time. You get what I'm saying? So personally, I really don't want my kids to go to traditional schools. Not saying that's guaranteed going to be in the works, but I'm gonna try my best to make that happen because I used to be nervous about homeschooling just for the simple fact of the social skills. But then I thought about it as I got older, like, well, it's a lot of after school programs that would help them make friends and be social. You need to hire your kids outside anyways. Put them in sports. Send them to the activity center, recreation centers. Like, you know what I mean? Make sure they have a social life outside of school anyways. So the school really is not a guaranteed thing showing that they're going to be sociable. Because I know people who went to school their whole lives and they don't have any social skills. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to be in different rooms. They don't know how to be chameleons and switch how they need to switch. I know a lot of people that went to school their whole life and they didn't get them nowhere. Like I said, it takes a village. A lot of them people at home their parents didn't do what they needed to do. They focused only on the teachers. They just relied on the school system. And a lot of times, especially in today's time, that's one of the biggest things. They rely on the school system too much. The schools can't raise your kids, bro. They see them 8 hours a day, sometimes not even that. And lately, I've been noticing it's been less and less school times. They get a break every 5 seconds. These kids ain't never in school anyways. It's the world's just weird nowadays. Like, I had this conversation a lot with colleagues of mine. I remember when I was younger, we had so much responsibility. There's no responsibility on these kids anymore. I don't even know if kids get allowance anymore because I don't really see kids even do chores anymore. They don't even know what a chore is. These kids really get a free life. We had to work for our free life. Your parents made you do everything in the house. I had to clean, yard, shovel, rake leaves. Really didn't cut grass like that, but I cut it like once or twice. Took the garbage out, cleaned the bathroom, folded the laundry, stuff. Human being things. Stuff you're going to have to do anyways when you become an adult. These kids don't even do that. I know a lot of kids that's middle school, high school, don't even know how to wash dishes. You know how ridiculous that is? Man, we was making whole dinners at fucking 10. Some of us younger than that. These kids, you can't even trust them to be responsible. I don't know what it is, because it's not just the school system, but it's like, it's scary. Because what the fuck is wrong with these kids to the point where they're not mature at all? And I like the fact that kids get to be kids nowadays. Because that was a big thing when we were younger. A lot of people in my age group didn't get to be kids. We had to be young adults. So I don't want them to have to be that, but I do want them to be more responsible. We used to watch other kids as kids. If you was 10, you was watching 6-year-olds. If you was 8, you was watching the 6-year-olds too, for real. Like whoever was the oldest, you in charge. They'll leave, all the adults will leave and go out and leave one kid in charge of all the kids, and you better make sure everybody end up unscathed, or at least alive. As long as when our parents came back, we were alive, they feel like they were accomplishing greatness. Not saying that's the goal line to meet, but we got a lot of responsibility put on us. I remember I used to be able to get on my bike and ride 10 miles away from my house, and my parents didn't even look for me. Until it got dark, then they would call my cell phone back when we first started getting cell phones. But before we had cell phones, we just knew what time to come home. It just was what it was. We left and went to the park. Our parents didn't talk to us all day. If your parents talked to you throughout the day, you probably was in trouble, or they probably telling you what you got to do when you get home. Do your homework. Do the laundry. Why you didn't take out the garbage? Then I tell you clean your room. That's all we got. They didn't mess with us. These kids sit up under their parents all day. The world is just weird nowadays when it comes to like these kids. I wouldn't trust them to leave off the block on a bike. Ride the bike where I can see you up and down the street. I need to be able to see you. I can't even trust you. And not even just you, I can't trust society. It's wicked out here. It's weird as hell. I really don't understand it. And then another thing is too, I want to touch on all of the mental health disorders. Really autism. Because autism is a spectrum of diseases. It's not just like it's one disease. It's literally a spectrum. A lot of kids are born on the spectrum nowadays. And what made me think about this, right? I had my first child 2 years ago, going on 3, whoop-de-doo. I've been getting him tested for autism because I've seen little signs. He's not autistic, by the way, just saying. But he does have other issues, nothing like too crazy. But I was happy that me and his mom paid enough attention to him to even notice the little signs he gave off for us to start getting him tested and start putting him in programs and getting them looked at and doing our due diligence as parents. Because I remember when I was younger, if you did that, you basically was giving your kid a death sentence. It was frowned upon for your kid to have any mental disorders or anything wrong with them. So most people in our generation just went undiagnosed. That's what a lot of them criminals, a lot of them in prison, a lot of them did. Because they went their whole life with a problem that was never even looked at because the parents didn't want to be embarrassed, or they didn't want them on the short bus, or they didn't want them, special ed education and things of that nature. Or it wasn't even just, you didn't know what the signs were. It wasn't autism is so big now. It seems like almost every kid autistic nowadays. What I want to say. It's beneficial. It's a pro, but it's still a con. You get what I'm saying? It goes both ways because while we don't want our kids to be autistic, but it's so common now that it's not even a bad thing to say it. It's just normal. It's normalized now. And I don't know what the cause is. I'm not about to get into the conspiracy theories. I heard about multiple different things, but nothing is technically proven by science yet. But that is something that worries me. How is all these kids autistic? We didn't have this much autism growing up, or was it undiagnosed? Because I know some people that I feel like, but we'll never know. So it could just be it wasn't diagnosed and it was just people running around going crazy, not going crazy, but running wild with no diagnosis, which is definitely possible. And I'm pretty sure it's mostly true. But I still don't think it was as bad as it is now. It's really like, it's scary to have kids. Not saying, and I want to say this too, if your child is on the spectrum, I'm not trying to alienate them or make it seem like there's something wrong with them or, things of that nature. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is nobody will wake up and ask for their child to be autistic. Whether you deal with it, if it happens, it happens. When I thought my son was autistic, it made me sad. I was going to roll with the punches. I was going to do whatever I had to do. I was going to still be his father and treat him the same. But it did make me sad. It's like, damn, did I fuck up? What'd I do wrong? You get what I'm saying? So I know it. So I know nobody's happily, walking around with them diagnoses, but we roll with the punches. That's what you got to do as an adult. And you have to love your kid and treat them the same. But this is a sidebar, because this really not, it has something to do with the video, but it's not really in detail what I'm talking about at the beginning. But I do want to bring this point up. Pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to them. Start noticing signs. Start getting them evaluated. Do not feel nervous or ashamed to have a kid with a mental disorder in any way, shape, or form. It's not your fault. I mean, some of y'all, it is your fault. I'm going to be honest. Some of y'all know who y'all are. Y'all didn't do right. It is what it is. I'm calling a spade a spade. But for the ones who did do right, it's not your fault. Shit does happen. Life do be lifing. We can't take the blame for every fucking thing. Just do as much as you can and catch it as early as possible. As early as possible. If you see any signs, go right to the doctor and start getting evaluations. Don't just take any diagnosis either. Get more than one opinion. We've had 4 or 5 tests, and they all came back no, and we still got it checked out by multiple different people, because every doctor is not created equally. Some of them got C's, some of them got D's. Everybody ain't get an A. You get what I'm saying? So make sure you remember that all doctors are not good doctors. Everybody who evaluates a child is not good at evaluating. They barely made it through the class, some of them. So you do need to understand that these are human beings, not robots. They might have been sleepy the day they got your kid or whatever. Your kid could have been sleepy. Make sure you do your due diligence as a parent. But I do feel like it's a big downfall in society as far as the learning aspect of children. The only benefit I really see of public schools, outside of you can't afford to send them anywhere else, or homeschool, I mean, it's basically a free daycare. And it does bring connections. Connections are very beneficial. Your network is definitely your net worth. So I never want to sleep on that. That's one of the biggest benefits I see of school, is the connections. And like I said, it does build social skills, but you still have to be in the mindset of being social. You have to teach your kids how to be social. I learned how to be social at home. I learned how to be social at the park on the block. Before I was ever at school. You don't start school, see about 4. Well, no, they started early, but we used to start at like 4. But they started like 2, 3 now. They put them kids instantly. It's basically daycare for real, like I said. But hey, like I said, whatever floats your boat. But you have to teach your kids to be social. And parents, stop depending on these teachers, bro. They got 1,500 students in one school. How you think they're going to be able to focus solely on your child? When you think that's going to happen? It's not all up on them, bro. You got to step up to the plate. I know you tired. I know you overworked. I know you underpaid. I know life is hard. I understand all that. But you had a kid. You had it. It's your fault. That's the part you could take the blame on. Is your fault. You had sex unprotected, probably more than once. So roll with the punches. Deal with it, man. Let's build our youth back up. Let's get it back to where these kids can show substance and have some type of intelligence, because they're the ones that's going to be watching us. I don't want y'all dumb kids watching me, and I don't want y'all dumb kids hanging with my kid. So please step it up. I need y'all to step it up as parents. And as a whole village, as a community, as aunties, as uncles, as grandmas, I really need people to be more focused. And I'm really going to make a video about these grandparents soon, too, because I feel like the grandparents don't grandparent at all. I remember grandparents used to really be like, damn, they're your second parents. Now the grandparents be at the club. They don't even watch the damn kids no more. Everybody used to be at grandma's house. Nobody don't be at their grandma's house. Hell, these people don't even know where their grandma stay. But like I said, I'm not even going to get too much on that video, on that topic, because this is not even part of the video. That was just like a quick little rant. But anyways, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please give me hella reviews, hella likes, hella replies, everything you can think of. I need it all. Turn on your post notifications, shout me out, all that good stuff. And check out my other content on my page too. I actually have some pretty good content. And like I said, give me as much feedback as possible. I'm optimistic to any type of reviews or feedback. I got thick skin. I read my comments. I don't get enough not to. Hey, appreciate y'all. I'm out.